I still gotta get used to that. Yeah, French press makes your coffee taste really thick, like textured. But anyways, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are new here, I'm Rahat, and I'm a third-year kinesiology student at the University of Ottawa. And the whole reason I decided to make this YouTube channel was just to kind of record my journey of applying to medical school in Australia and the UK for this year, and if I don't get in, I need to do it again for the coming years after that. So yeah, welcome, and let's get on with the video. Okay, so this week I was hoping to give you guys a quick little update about what's going on in my life, as well as some supplementary application tips, which you can use whether you're applying from high school to university, or you're applying from university to graduate programs, or even if you're just applying to a job somewhere and they have a supplementary application you have to fill out. So I'm just going to give some very general tips based on the feedback that I've been given from people, as well as just some of the things that I learned throughout high school and university about writing these types of applications. The update about what's going on in my life, the physiotherapy clinic opened back up, so my summer work study position is now back in full swing, and I'm working 30 hours a week again, which feels great because I get patient interaction, I get to see like Michelle, Amber, and Julia, who are like my coworkers, and all my friends again. It's just a good time being busy again. I like doing things. If you guys haven't picked that up yet, but yeah, so not much in my life going on other than work, more work, and then playing League of Legends with Richard. Oh, and YouTube. Yeah, other than those things, it's literally just that and reading. Previously, I was reading Do No Harm, which is a book by written by a neurosurgeon named Henry Marsh. Great book, highly recommend. You don't even have to be wanting to go into medicine to read it. It's just kind of philosophy in a way. And currently, I'm reading Better by Atul Gawande, and it's a surgeon's notes on performance. Because if you think about it, everyone is performing to some capacity, and why not get better at whatever you're doing. So yeah, tip number one is just to be candid yet be professional, because in these applications, obviously you want to sell yourself, but sometimes, especially when it comes to like medical school applications, one of the first questions is usually, why do you want to become a doctor? And I struggled a bit with that one, just because even though I know exactly why I want to do it, and I kind of delved into that in the last video, it's harder writing that out and then still making it feel meaningful. But I ended up talking to my friend Nina, who just got into U of T Med, and she said that often the most candid answer is the best one for that question as to why you want to do this thing. So yeah, so be candid, yet don't be colloquial or just super friendly in your writing, because it's still an academic piece of work in a way, because you are applying for a position, whether that be as a student in a program or as a worker or employee in a company or whatever it is, you're still applying somewhere. So be professional and use professional language, but also make your answer be a candid one, because that's just going to also make it easier for you to talk about those things if you're essentially just not thinking way too hard about this goal that you have, and you already know why you want to do it, but then now it's just getting it out into writing. So yeah, I'd say be candid, yet be professional, because that's the easiest way to get it done. So tip number two is to be concise and answer the questions that they're asking, because if you're just writing and writing, it's kind of just like rambling on when you're talking in person, kind of like how I do in these videos. So yeah, don't ramble essentially, and you want to be concise. And also, there isn't a lot of space in the sup app like question boxes. So for example, with James Cook, they give you a certain number of lines that you can write on, and unlike many other schools, it's not a typed up application, it's handwritten. So in order to be able to convey all your ideas and still have that content that you want to talk about, you have to be concise, and you have to also know exactly which points you want to hit and which experiences you want to talk about and just relevant things. So yeah, be concise and be aware of the space that you have to write or type into, because at the end of the day, that makes a big difference, because then you can just narrow things down that way. So yeah, tip number two is just be concise and be aware of your constraints into which you are typing or writing. And tip number three would be which I kind of mentioned in the last tip, is just pick out the most relevant and important details of experiences. So obviously everyone's lived different lives, and we've all got different things that we want to talk about that have led us to wherever we are or wherever we're trying to be. But sometimes in these applications, because there's such little space, you can't just talk about everything. So for example, for myself, I've tried to talk about things I'm passionate about, and one of the questions is just list anything extra that you think might help your application. So I chose to talk about mental health and how that's been important to me, my hobbies, because I want them to know who I am as a person. So I talked about like photography, movies, how I like pop culture and stuff, but I've related it all towards how that's helped me better my mental health and just keep me sane, because otherwise it just leads to burnout if you're just working all the time. So yeah, I talked about like my hobbies and interests in that question. When they asked for my extracurriculars, I just picked out the things that were the most meaningful to me. So I talked about just my time volunteering in hospitals, my time working as a physiotherapy assistant at the clinic, some of the research I've been a part of, because again, those are all in the realm of medicine, but they're also relevant to me as a person and just have helped me better my understanding of the field. And the first question was just, why do you want to be a doctor? And that one's always the hardest, but because you kind of know what you want to talk about already, hopefully. Yeah, just pick the most relevant things and the most relevant experiences that are important to you and that made you want to pursue whatever pathway it is, because at the end of the day, two people are going to have very different reasons, even though they may seem very similar at first. So don't compare your answers essentially with someone else and think that, oh, mine aren't as good as Bob, because Bob may have completely different reasons than you, but on the surface level, it just seems the same. So yeah, don't compare yourselves and pick the most relevant details and the most relevant experiences and try to get that out on paper, because that will ideally make the best stuff happen. And my last and final tip for this video, because if anything I can make a part 2 if you guys want, or if I figure out better ideas of how to write these applications, because I've written a bunch when I was in high school and now I'm in university, is just I'll make another video. But yeah, the final tip would just be edit, and read your writing out loud, because as stupid as it sounds, and I used to never listen to my English teachers when they told me this, because it just seemed redundant to me, of, oh, I know what I'm writing, like it's all in my head, it's coming out on paper, I know what I'm doing. But yeah, no, it doesn't work like that. Read your work out loud, and then you're gonna notice any grammatical issues, just because in your head, when you're writing things out, there's pauses and things like that automatically, which you may not be able to translate into writing right away. So read it out loud and kind of fix the grammar issues that way. And just send it out to your friends, to teachers that or professors who may be willing to help you edit. Obviously ask permission first. Yeah, friends, peers, classmates, professors, teachers, your parents even. Just anyone who's willing to help you edit and that you trust with editing your work. Get them to edit, because you never know what a different perspective can bring to the table, especially if it just helps you have a better application, because at the end of the day, that's what you want. Also, sorry, my throat is kind of dry. But yeah, just edit your work and get it done that way. Also, quick additional tip, beyond just the main ones, is submit your things on time, because there's a lot of people, including myself, who have this habit of prolonged procrastination, and all of us kind of think like, oh, it's fine, I have like all this time to do this thing. Like I started writing this application in May, on May 11th I think, and it is July 19th. I'm still not finished. So I also need this, well, the deadline to apply is August 31st, but they also said the quicker you get it in, the better. Yet here I am in July, still writing this application. So know your deadlines and get them in on time for those deadlines, because otherwise it will come back to haunt you, because you could have sent it out to your friend to edit and it's due in like 3 days, and then your friend doesn't submit it back to you until there's like 6 hours left. What are you gonna do? You're gonna panic, and you don't want that, because then that's just gonna make your mental health deteriorate. So yeah, know your deadlines, get them in on time, and I guess that was also an extra tip. But yeah, to just wrap it up, be candid and be professional. Highlight the relevant experiences and events that you think are important to you as a person, that helped you decide that this is what you want. Know your constraints in terms of the space that you have to write in or type into, and if there's Like I know when I was applying to McMaster for health sciences back in high school, they had a supplementary application where there's a time limit for each answer. So everyone would have like written their answers ahead in advance because they released the questions, and then you're just like typing things out as fast as you can, trying not to make any errors. It's not as scary as it sounds. Like finished mine with like 10 minutes early. It was like 20 minutes on the clock. So yeah, just know your time limits, know your constraints. Also, edit, because editing is key to producing good work. No good writer or author or journalist has ever not had an editor or edited their work themselves, so edit. And finally, just know your deadlines, because otherwise just everything's gonna spiral out of control. If you aren't focused on when you need things done by, especially with procrastination. Not now, Siri. So yeah, just know your deadlines and get things done. And again, I hope this video was helpful to everyone who's watching, and to everybody that watched my other video. I think it has like almost 300 views now. I am so thankful to each and every one of you. First of all, I didn't even think any video of mine would get that many views this early on in me trying to make a YouTube channel, so just thank you for that. I appreciate all of you. Okay, so I still don't know what I'm doing in these outros, and until I figure that out, I guess I'll see you guys in the next one.